Babes, welcome back. We love you, we see you. And honestly, before we get into celebrity gossip, can we please unpack the absolute circus that was our day?
Oh my God, please let it all out. But wait, hold on. Before you completely spiral, we need fuel for this.
Oh, thank God. Tell me you brought something.
Snark Squad, I am officially revealing today's survival juice. I have mixed up a massive, dangerously potent pitcher of spicy mango margaritas.
I could literally cry right now. That is exactly what I need.
Because surviving a Monday like the one we just had, it requires tequila.
Yeah.
And like a little bit of sweetness to trick the brain, plus a heavy kick of jalapeno to just shock the central nervous system back to life.
Give it to me.
Cheers to you, bestie. And cheers to the Snark Squad for making it through another start of the week.
Cheers, babe. Oh my God, wow.
Good, right?
That is hitting the back of my throat in the absolute best way possible. It is waking me up from the sheer emotional paralysis of this afternoon.
I knew it would.
Honestly, this entire day has just felt like one giant, elaborate psychological experiment, like orchestrated by the universe specifically to test my sanity. And it all started with our little quote-unquote quick check-in earlier today.
Oh, you mean the 5-minute FaceTime call
Yeah.
that completely and unapologetically derailed both of our afternoons? That
Yeah.
one.
Exactly that one. Snark Squad, listen to this. I called with one very specific, very simple question.
Which I don't even think we answered.
No, we didn't. I literally just wanted to know if a rug I was looking at online was too beige for my living room, or like if it was the right kind of beige. That was it. A binary yes or no question.
And did we even talk about the rug?
Mm-hmm.
Because analytically speaking, I don't remember seeing a single pixel of a textile.
Not once.
What I do remember is that within like 3 minutes, the conversation mutated. We were somehow unpacking extremely hyper-specific childhood memories.
Oh my God, the Scholastic Book Fair.
Yes, the socioeconomic hierarchy of the Scholastic Book Fair
Yeah.
and like the synthetic smell of the eraser aisle.
Right. And then from the 90s nostalgia, we somehow seamlessly pivoted into a terrifyingly analytical take on reality TV casting structures.
Which, honestly, we were making some excellent points about.
We really were. We should be casting directors. But then that led to a full-blown existential crisis about apartment decor,
Naturally.
which obviously led to us debating what to have for dinner. But the absolute peak, the summit of our chaotic spiral, was when we spent a solid 20 minutes seriously debating whether pigeons secretly judge humans.
I stand by my thesis on the pigeons. I really do.
You are insane.
No, listen, you cannot look me in the eye and tell me that a pigeon, standing on a subway grate staring unblinkingly at your shoes, is not actively critiquing your life choices.
They are literally just looking for breadcrumbs.
They have a judgmental strut. It is evolutionary biology mixed with, like, urban cynicism.
I was literally crying laughing. I was supposed to be answering high-priority emails, and instead I'm staring at your face on my phone screen, weeping over the imagined inner monologue of a New York City pigeon.
It was necessary decompression.
But the worst part, like the absolute most toxic trait of our friendship, the goodbyes. We literally cannot perform a standard human sign-off.
We really can't.
Yeah.
We suffer from severe digital separation anxiety. I literally tracked it this time.
You did?
Yes. I said, okay, I gotta go. I have a heart out for a meeting. And you said, okay, love you, bye.
And then I remembered something about my neighbor's dog.
Exactly. The dog's aggressive energy.
Yeah.
And we talked for another 10 minutes. We said goodbye at least 6 different times before either of us actually had the emotional fortitude to press the red button.
It's a sickness.
Mm.
But you know what? I was thinking about this after we finally hung up. The takeaway here is that the best conversations, like the ones that actually feed your soul and regulate your nervous system, are always the completely unplanned ones.
Oh, totally.
In an era where every single interaction is scheduled and calendar invited, our friendship runs purely on these random, chaotic digital pop-ins. If we schedule a call, we have nothing to say.
We just stare at each other like strangers.
Exactly. But if I accidentally FaceTime you from my pocket while I'm struggling to carry laundry up the stairs, we will literally solve world peace.
It's so true. It's the spontaneous chaos that fuels us. It bypasses the whole performative layer of our brains. But it really made me analyze our dynamic earlier. Like, are we officially trauma bonded at this point?
Oh, babe, I was emotionally questioning this exact same thing on my commute. I was sitting there in traffic, wondering if our souls are just tragically linked by the sheer amount of daily, mundane trauma we endure together.
Mundane trauma is so real.
Right. Think about the things we voluntarily put ourselves through. For example, going to the dentist.
Oh God, the clinical theater of the dentist, don't even get me started.
It is a daily, humbling experience. You walk in, you're a confident adult, you pay taxes, you advocate for yourself in the workplace.
In theory.
Right. And then they recline you in that chair, put that little paper bib on you with the cold alligator clips, and shine an interrogation spotlight into your retinas.
It's so violating.
And suddenly, all your adult agency just evaporates. You are a vulnerable child apologizing for not flossing enough to a hygienist named Brenda, who is openly judging your enamel. It is emotionally devastating.
Well, Brenda knows you only flossed aggressively in your car in the parking lot 3 minutes before walking in, bestie. The gums don't lie.
She always knows. And then, to recover from the dentist trauma, what do? I go to hot yoga.
Which is a whole other layer of hell.
It is its own sick, twisted form of physical torture that we somehow pay premium membership fees for. It is heavily marketed as relaxing, yet it is completely emotionally devastating. You are in a 105-degree room, slipping on your own sweat, contorting your body into a literal pretzel, while an instructor named Sage whispers, "Find your peace."
Sage is out of her mind.
I'm not finding peace, Sage. I'm finding out that my hamstrings are made of concrete, and I'm actively fighting for my life against gravity.
Okay, see, here's where I'm going to push back analytically on your theory, my sweet, dramatic friend.
Okay, hit me.
I think we need to separate clinical terminology from internet slang. Are we laughing through the pain of impossible yoga poses? Yes.
Yes, constantly.
Are we surviving difficult people, demanding clients, chaotic emails, and the general baseline terror of existing right now? Yes. But laughing through the stress doesn't mean our souls are tragically, permanently linked by a trauma bond.
It doesn't. What is it then? Because I reject the idea that this is just normal.
Well, a trauma bond implies an abusive cycle of punishment and reward. What we have is not a trauma bond. Analytically speaking, we are just participating in a reality show called Adulting, and we are the exhausted, underpaid stars of the franchise.
Oh my God, wait.
It's not trauma. It's just the baseline requirement for existing in your 30s. We aren't trauma bonded. We're just co-stars in this horrible, unscripted mess, trying to make it to the reunion episode with our sanity intact.
Co-stars in Adulting trying to make it to the reunion. Put that on a t-shirt immediately.
Right. It makes sense.
I actually love that reframe. That makes me feel so much better because I was genuinely starting to spiral into therapy speak. Speaking of spiraling, can we please talk about the grocery store?
Oh, I was waiting for this.
Because the grocery store chaos today almost broke me completely.
You texted me from the aisle and you just wrote, "I am paralyzed." I didn't know if it was a medical emergency requiring a paramedic or a dairy aisle crisis requiring a pep talk.
It was a full-blown existential crisis in aisle 4. Snark Squad. I walked into that grocery store after work for 3 things. 3 simple items.
Let me guess.
Almond milk, a single lemon, and paper towels. That is it. I had a mission. I was going to be an efficient, tactical shopper, immune to consumerism.
But let me guess the fatal flaw in your execution. You grabbed a handbasket, not a cart. The ultimate hubris of the modern shopper.
The basket of lies, yes. I grabbed the handbasket, confident in my restraint.
Big mistake.
Fast forward 45 minutes. I am hauling this overflowing basket that weighs 40 pounds. The plastic handle is violently cutting off the circulation to my fingers, and I am leaving the store with 27 items.
27. What did you even buy?
I bought artisanal Gouda I don't even like. I bought a seasonal cinnamon broom that is currently shedding all over my floor. I bought 3 different types of sparkling water and an entirely new brand of organic tortilla chips, purely because the testography on the packaging was aesthetically pleasing.
It's the Gruen effect in action, bestie. Supermarkets are literally designed as psychological warfare.
It worked. I was a victim.
But let me ask the golden question. Did you get the 3 items you actually went in for?
No, I completely forgot the paper towels. The one original item I desperately needed to clean my apartment. Forgot them.
Unbelievable.
But I did spend a solid 10 minutes standing completely frozen in the condiment aisle, deciding between 2 nearly identical jars of marinara sauce. 10 minutes. Comparing the sodium content like I'm suddenly a credentialed nutritional scientist. Why does grocery shopping suddenly feel like an Olympic event?
Because, like I said, it's the Gruen effect. Retailers deliberately create an intentionally confusing layout to induce spatial disorientation.
Special disorientation. Yes.
They pump in that weird, timeless lighting, they move the milk to the back so you have to walk past the artisanal cheeses, and they overwhelm your prefrontal cortex with micro-decisions. By the time you hit the checkout, your brain is pure mush.
Well, the decision fatigue definitely hit critical mass at the self-checkout. Don't even get me started on the machines.
Oh no, what did the machine do?
The self-checkout machine decided that today was the day it was going to stage a full Skynet rebellion. It completely malfunctioned. It refused to recognize my single lemon.
It didn't recognize a lemon.
No. It kept screaming, unexpected item in bagging area, in that harsh robotic voice, alerting everyone in the store that I am apparently incapable of identifying citrus.
Oh, that is mortifying.
I just stood there, completely defeated, waiting for the one exhausted attendant to come swipe her magical badge and absolve me of my grocery sins. It was deeply humiliating.
Honestly, if the self-checkout yells at you, it throws off the entire rest of the week. It's a very specific type of modern rejection.
It really is.
But listen, I validate your grocery store trauma, but my morning was derailed before I even had the chance to put pants on.
Oh God, what happened?
Let's talk about morning family chaos, because my mother decided to choose violence today before 8 in the morning.
Oh no, not the morning text barrage. Please tell me you had at least consumed some form of caffeine before this happened.
Babe, I hadn't even brushed my teeth. I wake up, I roll over, I check my phone, expecting maybe an email or a TikTok from you, and instead, I am hit with a wall of text messages from my mother.
A literal wall.
Just solid blocks of text. A completely unprompted, highly dramatic recounting of some family grievance from a decade ago, laced with guilt trips and passive-aggressive emojis.
The passive-aggressive emoji is the deadliest weapon in a mother's digital arsenal. Was it the upside-down smiley face? Or the hands praying one?
It was the single tear emoji, which is basically emotional blackmail in pixelated form.
Yeah.
And it instantly derailed my morning peace.
Of course it did.
You wake up feeling okay, your cortisol levels are baseline, and then boom, the mood is hijacked by asynchronous communication. It is such an exhausting emotional gymnastics routine trying to navigate that dynamic.
Because you want to be a good child, right? You want to be supported.
Exactly. You want to protect your own peace. You want to start your day with a clear head. But you also care deeply about your messy, complicated family.
It's a lot.
It's this constant tightrope walk. How do I acknowledge her feelings without absorbing her anxiety? How do I be a supportive person without letting their chaotic, unregulated energy completely swallow me whole before breakfast?
Bestie, I am so sorry. That is the worst way to start a Monday. But I want to remind you right now, and I want to remind everyone in the Snark Squad listening who deals with this exact same exhausting family dynamic.
Hell no.
Setting boundaries is not selfish. It is the absolute ultimate form of self-care. You are allowed to put your phone on Do Not Disturb. You are allowed to not reply until you have the emotional bandwidth to deal with it.
I need to get better at that.
It's the airplane oxygen mask rule. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
I know. And I did eventually just mute the conversation. I had to physically put the phone in another room and force myself to make breakfast just to break the spell.
Good. I am fiercely supportive of you muting that chat, because at the end of the day, when the biological family gets too heavy, you have to lean on your chosen family.
Yep.
That's us. That's the Snark Squad. The people who genuinely have your back and don't send you guilt trip emojis before 8 a.m. We are how you survive the day. If you need to vent, if you need to rage, if you need to analyze the psychology of a text message for an hour, that's what I'm here for.
I appreciate that more than you know. Seriously. Knowing I could come on here and unpack it with you is the only way I didn't lose my mind today.
But babes, enough about our beautifully chaotic lives. Somehow the celebrities managed to have an even messier day than we did.
It's almost comforting, isn't it? Knowing that no matter how much our self-checkout machines yell at us or our moms text us, there is a reality star out there completely dismantling their own life and reputation on the internet.
Oh, it is my absolute favorite form of therapy. And honestly, the transition from our own digital chaos, like our hour-long FaceTime and your mom's text barrage, to the absolute unhinged digital chaos these celebrities are posting on Instagram is just seamless today.
So seamless.
We have to talk about the mess happening with the Summer House cast right now. Specifically, Wes Wilson's absolute yassification of Amanda Batula.
Yassification is honestly too generous of a word for what happened here. This isn't just a filter. This is a digital crime scene. Let's lay out the tea for the Snark Squad.
Yes, please.
So it was Amanda's 35th birthday on Friday. Wes Wilson, who we all know was already skating on incredibly thin ice with the Bravo universe after his behavior last season, decides to post a birthday tribute on his Instagram story.
Okay, stop right there. Because just the intention behind the post is already messy. Why is he, of all people, leading the charge on birthday tributes?
Right, so he posts a photo of Amanda sitting at a table outside a restaurant, but he quickly deletes it. Why? Because Amanda looked completely, and I mean completely, unrecognizable.
It didn't even look like her.
He heavily facetuned her, like to the point where fans were screen-grabbing it before it disappeared,
Yeah.
and the side-by-side comparisons are staggering. He didn't just smooth a blemish, he essentially altered her entire bone structure.
He didn't just alter her bone structure, he morphed her into a completely different human being. I saw the Reddit threads, and the Snark squad was working overtime. Fans are comparing this edited version of Amanda to Rula Pontarelli, to Leva Bonaparte from Southern Charm, and here is the absolute kicker to West's own former flame, Major Moreno.
Yes. Someone on Reddit literally wrote, he yassified her into a different ethnicity. And the caption he initially chose for this heavily edited, borderline insulting photograph, HB Homegirl. Happy birthday, Homegirl.
Girl, are you kidding me? Let me push back on this for a second because I need to understand the psychology here. Is this malice, or is West just so deeply illiterate when it comes to social media aesthetics that he thought this was a compliment?
That's a good question.
Because if my man, or even my male friend, edits my face to look like his ex-girlfriend, essentially projecting his own aesthetic desires onto my literal face, and then caps it off by calling me homegirl on my birthday, I am throwing his phone into the ocean. That is a level of disrespect and weird projection that I cannot even fathom.
It's definitely a projection. I don't think it's calculated malice. I think it's a terrifying look into what his algorithm feeds him. He's likely so accustomed to seeing heavily edited, racially ambiguous Instagram faces on his feed that he subconsciously applied that standard to his friend.
That is so dark.
But the spiral continues. He deletes the HB Homegirl post because the internet immediately starts roasting him. So what does he do? He reposts the exact same bizarrely edited picture, but changes the caption to HB Twin at Amanda Batula.
Twin? In what universe are they twins? What does that even mean? One Reddit user asked the exact same thing. Like, why would you use the word twin? That seems so bizarre to me to call your girlfriend that. It is beyond bizarre. He is tripling down on the weirdness.
And he didn't stop there.
Yeah.
He clearly saw the backlash brewing, the comments were getting out of control, so he posted another story with an acronym. Together, we ignore negativity. TWIN. He tried to backtrack and pretend twin was a clever acronym all along.
Oh my God, he thought he was doing something so intellectual there. Together, we ignore negativity. No, the negativity is not coming from the fans. The negativity is coming from inside the house. The negativity is you face-tuning your girlfriend's actual jawline into oblivion because she doesn't fit your algorithm's standard of beauty. And then, just to really pile on the delusion, he posts another heavily edited pic of the two of them and captions it loms, "Love of my life."
It's classic psychological overcompensation. When you get caught doing something weird, shady, or offensive, the immediate trauma response is to pivot to aggressive, grandiose, romantic declarations to try and drown out the noise of the criticism.
Well, it's not working.
No, and the rest of the Summer House cast is clearly not having it. Did you see Jesse Solomon's TikTok?
Oh, the shade of it all, yes. Jesse Solomon posts a TikTok where he is lip-syncing to that iconic audio of a woman saying, "Imagine how tired we are. Imagine how tired we are of it." And his caption, "Had this in the drafts. Felt fitting today."
It is brilliant, subtle warfare. Jesse is clearly shading West's entire social media antic circus. Especially because if we look at the timeline, Jesse was catching heat for recently posting a pic with West, making people think they were back on good terms. Jesse is basically using this cultural moment to signal to the fans, look, I am just as exhausted by this guy's performative behavior as you are.
I have so many emotions about this. I am screaming if a man ruined his friendships, ruined his career, ruined his reputation on national television, because let's not forget, West completely betrayed Ciara Miller and Kyle Cook. If a man did all of that, just to end up face-turning me into a completely different ethnicity and calling me homegirl, I would literally check into a facility. I would need professional intervention. The absolute audacity of West Wilson is staggering.
It really is a masterclass in how to self-sabotage a reality TV career by refusing to live in reality. But you know, West isn't the only one relying on artificial intelligence and heavy filtering this week to create a digital shield. Let's pivot slightly to the Real Housewives of Miami. Because Larsa Pippen just posted what the internet is hilariously calling her witness protection photo.
Oh, Larsa. The absolute queen of the unbothered, highly filtered Instagram grid. What does she do now? Because she is usually the pioneer of the uncanny valley.
She posted a photo of herself in a form-fitting black dress, matching heels, hair loose, standing in front of this gorgeous, stunning sunset background. She captioned it with a simple blue heart emoji. It sounds lovely, right?
In theory, yes. A sunset and a black dress is a classic, unbeatable combo.
Except the internet is entirely convinced the photo is AI-generated, or at the very least, edited beyond the realm of human recognition. The comments are brutal, bestie. One fan wrote, Larsa Pippen.
Stop.
Another said, has anyone seen Larsa? Who is this? And my personal favorite, which really captures the sentiment, join the witness protection program I see.
Larsa Pippen is so brilliant. I'm actually mad I didn't think of it first. But seriously, let's unpack this. Why does she do this? We see her on high-definition television every single week. We know exactly what her face looks like in motion, in natural lighting.
It's exactly.
One of the comments literally asked, why does she look so good here, but nothing like this on the show? It creates this massive cognitive dissonance for the viewer.
Right. And logically speaking, if we pull up her history, this is a recurring, deeply ingrained theme for Larsa. Do you remember back in August 2025? She was in New York City, and her face looked incredibly puffy.
Oh, I remember.
The internet went absolutely wild, accusing her of going overboard with fresh filler right before a press tour.
And what was her excuse? Because they always have an excuse that involves, like, high-altitude flying or eating too much sushi the night before or dehydration.
She got on her Instagram story and vehemently claimed it wasn't filler at all. She said she had an allergic reaction to a PRP treatment, platelet-rich plasma.
Ah, yes, the classic medically vague allergic reaction defense. Look, maybe she did. I'm not her doctor. But when you combine that history of denial with this new Larsa AI sunset picture, you have to look at the broader context of what is happening in her life right now.
Very messy behind the scenes.
Exactly. Things are incredibly messy for her. We just got the official word that RHOM is being paused again after season 7. After such a blockbuster season, Andy Cohen and Bravo put the Miami ladies on ice. That is a huge blow to the ego, the relevance, and most importantly, the wallet.
Massive blow.
And on top of that professional instability, Larsa recently split from her boyfriend, NBA player Jeff Kobe. So here's my hot take. My question to you, as the expert in internet behavior, is this heavy filtering, this witness protection level of editing actually a trauma response?
Tell me more.
Like, she's going through a very public breakup, her main source of relevance and income is put on pause, and she has zero control over Bravo's production schedule. Is she just retreating into this highly controlled, artificially perfect digital version of herself because her real life feels completely out of control?
That's a very astute psychological analysis, babe. In academia, they call it digital armor. When your physical reality or professional life is unstable, you control the narrative where you absolutely can. And for influencers, that's the Instagram grid.
That makes so much sense.
You smooth out the flaws on your face because you physically cannot smooth out the flaws in your contract negotiations. It's a defense mechanism. The Instagram face is a commodity, and when her other commodities, her relationship, her TV spot, are depreciating, she overinvests in the one asset she can manipulate with an app.
Exactly. It's a coping mechanism, albeit a very obvious one that the Snark squad can spot from a mile away. It's sad, honestly. The pressure of aging in reality TV is ruthless. But Larsa isn't the only housewife showing off a new look amidst a swirling storm of rumors and instability.
We have to talk about Salt Lake City.
The snow is melting, but the tea is boiling hot. Angie Katsaneva's just debuted a brand new face.
Yes, she did, taking the concept of physical filtering to a whole new level. Angie K did an interview with Us Weekly to tease the upcoming Season 7 of RHOSLC. But nobody, and I mean literally nobody, was listening to a single word she was saying about the cast dynamics or the snowy drama.
Not a single soul was listening.
All anyone could focus on was her face. The TikTok comments were ablaze. People were saying she had too much work done, asking what's happening, and like, what did she do to her jaw?
Okay, but who are they comparing her to? Because the comparisons are always the most savage, but also the most telling part of these internet reactions.
They were comparing her directly to Jeana Keough from 90 Day Fiancé.
No way.
Yes. Someone literally wrote, whoa, I thought that was Jeana from 90 Day Fiancé for a second. And another said, Jeana, is that you?
Ugh.
We all know Jeana is notoriously loudly open about her extensive plastic surgery journey, and her pursuit of the hyper-exaggerated aesthetic.
To be compared to a 90 Day Fiancé cast member known specifically for extreme surgical makeovers is a choice. It really shows how globalized this specific Instagram face has become. But what was Angie actually saying in the interview while everyone was staring at her jawline? Was there any substance beneath the surface?
Oh, absolutely. She was dropping some major shifts in allegiance, which is crucial for Salt Lake City lore. She revealed that her new ride or die for Season 7 is none other than Heather Gay.
Wait, what?
She claimed they have a true, deep friendship where they hold each other accountable, saying, Heather is pretty direct and will tell her when she's in the wrong.
Wait. Let's rewind the tape. Heather Gay. What happened to Mary Cosby? I thought Angie and Mary were thicker than thieves last season. Didn't Mary literally say she liked Angie's oversized sunglasses? That is a blood oath in Mary Cosby language.
Completely ditched. Left in the Utah dust. It seems Mary Cosby is out and Heather Gay is in. Which, if we analyze Angie's historical behavior on the show, is incredibly predictable. Let's trace the lineage of Angie K's alliances, because it operates exactly like a parasite looking for a strong host.
I'm living for this breakdown.
First, she was oh so close to Jen Shah, right up until the bitter legal end. Then she pivoted and buddied up with Lisa Barlow when Lisa had the fan favor. Then she tried to ride the coattails of Whitney Rose's healing journey. Then she found maximum popularity by aligning herself with the chaotic energy of Mary Cosby. And now that Mary's star has dimmed a bit and Heather Gay is riding high off the reality Von Teese takedown, Angie is clinging to Heather.
It is strategic reality TV survival at its finest. She is a social climber in the snow. She evaluates who has the highest Q rating with the fans and attaches herself immediately. A fan comment on the article said exactly that. They were like, our HOSLC has a lot of miserable vipers, but there's one faker who stands above the rest, and that's Angie K.
They're not wrong.
They predicted that Angie and Heather are going to form a terrifying alliance and wreak havoc on Lisa and Meredith this season.
And all of this strategic maneuvering, this changing of alliances and changing of faces is happening while Angie is navigating incredibly heavy rumors that she and her husband, Sean Trujillo, have officially split.
Oh, the rumors about Sean have been swirling forever, basically since her first season as a friend of. Honestly, one fan made a really empathetic point on the post that made me pause. They said, guys, she's potentially going through a divorce and pulling herself together for this video. How about be kind?
That's a fair point.
And you know what? Fair. Going through a highly scrutinized public divorce while filming reality TV has to be excruciating. Maybe the new face, the new alliances, it's all just her way of shedding her old life and trying to build a new armor.
Or maybe she just went to Lenny Hochstein's clinic by mistake.
Oh my God. The shade. You did not just bring the boob god into this.
I absolutely did, and we're going to get to the collapse of his empire in a minute. But since the internet organically brought up Jeana from 90 Day Fiancé as Angie K's facial doppelganger, we need to talk about the chaos happening with actual reality TV visas and international borders right now. Because the illusion of reality TV is hitting a massive brick wall called federal law.
It is wild. The consequences are suddenly so real. Let's start with Jeana, since she's top of mind. What is she up to besides being the blueprint for Salt Lake City plastic surgery?
Jeana is currently busy setting fire to her entire cast on social media, prioritizing digital clout over real-world relationships. She took to Instagram to discuss her experience on 90 Day, the last resort, and she did not hold back. She literally called her co-stars low-quality individuals.
Yikes.
And on top of that, she is actively bashing her soon-to-be ex-husband, Sarper Given, just completely burning every brig on the network in exchange for a few days of engagement.
Low-quality individuals, that is so incredibly petty. It's just shallow, high school-level Instagram drama. And what makes it so much worse, what really grinds my gears and makes me question our entire media consumption, is contrasting Jeana's ridiculous internet tantrums with what is actually happening to other stars in the exact same franchise. We have to talk about Armando Rubio because it is the ultimate reality check.
Yes. Armando and Kenny are absolute fan favorites, probably the most genuine couple on the network. And Armando recently shared a really heavy, real-life update that puts all of this petty nonsense into perspective.
It is heartbreaking, but also there's a glimmer of hope. Snark Squad, Armando's young daughter, suffered a terrifying brain bleed. Can you even imagine the fear? As a parent, that is your absolute worst nightmare. A medical crisis of that magnitude stops her entire world.
Just horrifying.
But the good news, the incredible legal news, is that Armando was just granted a 1-month humanitarian visa extension to stay in the U.S. while she recovers.
It's a huge relief for them. The immigration system is notoriously inflexible, so this extension is massive. The fans are rallying behind him. One commenter named Tommy wrote, "Great news, only good things for Armando and his family. It really grounds you in what actually matters."
It makes me so emotional. Armando is sitting in a sterile hospital room, navigating terrifying medical updates for his child, relying on the grace of humanitarian visas just to be physically by her side. That is real life. That is profound, terrifying struggle. And then you open another app and see Shekinah posting heavily edited selfies and calling her castmates low quality for clicks.
It's quite the contrast.
It just highlights the absolute absurdity of reality TV priorities. I am sending all my love, my prayers, and my best energy to Armando and his beautiful little girl.
It definitely puts the petty drama into sharp perspective. But speaking of visas, international borders, and reality stars colliding with federal law, the U.S. immigration system does not care if you are on Bravo or TLC. They're cracking down on digital nomads and influencers. And former Below Deck star Natalia Scudder found that out the absolute hard way.
Oh my God, the Natalia deportation story. This blew my mind because I didn't even know this was a crime. What exactly happened at LAX? Walk me through the mechanics of this because I need to know how they caught her.
So Natalia, who we know from Below Deck Med, flew into Los Angeles International Airport. According to an interview she gave, what was supposed to be a normal entry into the country turned into an absolute nightmare. She was detained by U.S. Customs and Border Protection at LAX, heavily quizzed in a back room, and literally kicked out of the country. Deported, put back on a plane, and sent away.
Deported. From sieving espresso martinis on a Bravo super yacht to being detained at LAX like a criminal. But how? Why did they flag her? Did she overstay?
This is where it gets fascinating from an analytical and legal standpoint. This is the era of cyber border patrol. Immigration officers pulled up her social media footprint from a previous visit she made to the U.S. They discovered that during her time in America on a standard B-2 tourist visa, she was earning money from social media posts.
Wow.
The immigration officers basically told her, hey, earning money from images posted online while your physical body is located within U.S. borders requires completely different classification, an O1 or H-1B working visa, not a tourist visa.
Wait, let me make sure I am understanding this. So if you are an influencer from London or Australia, and you are on vacation in Miami, and you post a sponsored ad for like teeth whitening strips or a FabFitFun box,
Wow.
You are technically breaking federal U.S. immigration law if you don't have a work visa.
Exactly. Because the transaction, the labor of posting the ad for compensation, is occurring on U.S. soil. It is a massive wake-up call for the entire influencer industry. Influencers and reality stars have operated for a decade thinking that international borders are just suggestions, or that the internet exists in some lawless, untrackable cloud outside of government jurisdiction.
They really do think that.
But the U.S. government is incredibly strict about foreign nationals making money on its soil without paying taxes or having the right paperwork. If your physical geolocation is in California when you press post on an ad that pays you, you are legally working in America.
That is insane, but also it makes total sense when you break it down. You can't just bypass the entire immigration labor system because your job is executed on a smartphone. Natalia must have been absolutely shook. I can't even imagine sitting in a cold interrogation room at LAX and the Border Patrol agent turns their monitor around, pulls up your Instagram grid, and starts pointing at your sponsored bikini posts.
Ma'am, is this a paid partnership?
It's the ultimate reality check. The era of influencers flying under the radar on tourist visas is rapidly coming to an end. Algorithms can track geolocation, and customs agents are trained to look at social media now. And honestly, this legal reality check perfectly highlights the overarching theme today. Reality stars are suddenly facing massive real-world consequences for their actions.
A bubble is bursting.
Which brings us back to Miami and the legal collapse of Dr. Lenny Hochstein.
The boob god himself.
Yeah.
The man who treated Lisa Hochstein like absolute disposable garbage on national television. What is happening with Lenny? Because I am so ready to hear about this man's karma. Karma has officially entered the chat, and she brought an aggressive legal team. Dr. Lenny Hochstein has just been slapped with 3 brand-new medical malpractice lawsuits. 3 different women have filed suits against him for alleged botched cosmetic surgeries.
Oh my God, 3
Yeah.
at the same time. Oh, the schadenfreude I am experiencing right now is delicious. I'm sorry, let me clarify. I know these women suffered, and my heart genuinely goes out to them for having to deal with physical pain and botched surgeries.
Of course.
But as for Lenny, this is exactly what happens. This is what happens when you spend more time being a reality TV villain, flaunting your mistresses, going to wild parties, and screaming at your ex-wife in your custom-built Star Island mansion than you do focusing on your actual highly delicate medical practice.
It really paints a picture of a man profoundly distracted by his own ego and television persona. When your personal life is a flaming dumpster fire broadcasted globally on Peacock, it's not shocking that your professional life, which requires extreme precision and focus, starts to take a hit. 3 lawsuits in rapid succession is a massive red flag for a plastic surgery practice. It completely shatters the illusion of the untouchable, elite Miami surgeon that he spent a decade cultivating on the show.
It is what he deserves. Let him deal with depositions, lawyers, and medical boards instead of hot mic moments and club appearances. But listen, while we are on the topic of medical issues, we have to talk about a much more serious, really tragic situation unfolding in the OC. Because this shows the devastating reality of what happens when the Bravo paycheck stops. We need to talk about Jeana Keough.
Yes. For the old-school Bravo fans, Jeana Keough is absolute royalty. She's an OG of the OC. She laid the foundation for the entire Housewives franchise. But she is currently fighting a horrific, life-threatening battle. She was diagnosed with stage 3 squamous cell carcinoma of her tongue.
It is so terrifying. Her daughter, Jeana Keough, who has already been through so much unimaginable tragedy in her own life with the loss of her baby and her father, started a GoFundMe for Jeana. Cara revealed the heartbreaking details. The cancer was so advanced that Jeana had to have half of her tongue removed from the back to the front.
Unbelievably tough.
She's been hospitalized for weeks, she can't eat solid food, and she is enduring a relentless, grueling combination of chemo, radiation, and immunotherapy.
And this is where the controversy started online, which I find fascinating from a sociological perspective. Because fans immediately started questioning why a real housewife, someone who famously lived in the ultra-wealthy gated community of Coto de Casa, needs a GoFundMe. The goal is set at $90,000, and it's currently sitting around $70,000. People were being highly critical of her financial situation, basically asking, where did all the Bravo money go?
Which is so gross and ignorant to me. People are so quick to judge without understanding the economics of early reality TV or the reality of the American healthcare system. But thankfully, Vicki Gunvalson actually stepped up to defend her in a major way.
Say what you want about Vicki Gunvalson's antics, but she ferociously defends her friends when it counts. Vicki went on Jeff Lewis Live and broke down the harsh reality of Jeana's finances. She explained that Jeana relies on a small pension from her late husband, Matt Key, who passed away in 2020, and her standard Social Security checks. That's it. That is her fixed income.
And Vicki pointed out the most crucial detail. Jeana works in real estate, which is 100% commission-based sales. If you have half your tongue removed and you are hooked up to chemo machines, you physically cannot hustle to sell houses. Her primary source of income completely abruptly stopped.
Exactly.
Vicki said the pension and Social Security are simply not enough to cover her rent in Coto de Casa and the soaring, astronomical medical bills that come with stage 3 cancer treatment.
It highlights a really dark, unspoken reality of the Bravo universe. The illusion of extreme wealth on these shows isn't always permanent or liquid. Divorces happen, death happens, the real estate market crashes, and suddenly you are just a regular person trying to survive a catastrophic illness. Early Housewives weren't making $1 million a season.
Exactly. Bestie, it makes me so emotional because this relates directly to how easily any of us could be financially ruined by a medical emergency in this country. It doesn't matter if you were on TV 10 years ago or if you work a 9-to-5 today. One bad diagnosis, one aggressive tumor, and you are drowning in medical debt. I am begging the Snark Squad, if you see the GoFundMe, just have some empathy for a Bravo legend who gave us so much entertainment. Have some grace. It costs $0 to not leave a nasty comment on a cancer patient's fundraising page.
Absolutely. The medical system is ruthless, and empathy should always be our default reaction, not cynicism. But while Vicki is out here nobly defending Jeana's finances and proving her loyalty to the OGs, she is simultaneously fighting a completely different, highly petty war on another front.
Oh, of course she is.
Let's talk about the eternal ongoing feud. Vicki Gunvalson versus Heather Dubrow.
Because of course they are fighting nature's healing, death, taxes, and Vicki and Heather at each other's throats. What are they bickering about this week?
So Heather Dubrow did an interview clarifying a text message she allegedly sent to Vicki. Apparently, Vicki's been running around Orange County claiming that Heather called herself the leader of the pack in a text. Heather completely laughed this off in the interview, saying that is absurd and she would never use such tacky phrasing.
Tacky phrasing, wow.
But then Heather took the opportunity to drop some heavy hints that Vicki consistently gets away with very bad, toxic behavior on RHOC because people are afraid of her legacy.
Oh, she went straight for the jugular. Leader of the pack is such a Vicki phrase, though. I can totally see Vicki misinterpreting a completely benign text from Heather just to make it sound like Heather is actively trying to steal her throne.
Yeah.
And didn't Heather also drag Jennifer Pedranti into this press tour?
She did. Heather accused Jennifer Pedranti of gaslighting her this season, so Heather's just taking on all challengers, old and new. But if we break down the Vicki and Heather dynamic from a structural standpoint, it's the eternal power struggle of Orange County. It's practically Shakespearean class warfare.
It really is. Vicki is the creator. She is the blueprint. She views herself as the working-class hero who built the franchise with her bare hands. She wants her crown back, she wants her orange securely in her hand, and she views Heather as the pretentious, wealthy usurper who bought her way in.
And Heather, with her champs, her extravagant vocabulary, and her massive, bespoke mansion, will never, ever bow down to Vicki. Heather operates on this plane of perceived intellectual and financial superiority, while Vicki operates on pure, unfiltered, chaotic emotional reactions. They are fundamentally incompatible archetypes, which makes for spectacular television.
It's the unstoppable force of Vicki's ego meeting the immovable object of Heather's wealth, and I am seated for every single second of it. But babe, I feel like we've been talking about lawsuits, deportations, digital crimes, and cancer. We need to end this gossip download on a high note. We need some boss babe empowerment to balance the scales. Let's check in on In the City. What is Yvonne Nager up to?
Yvonne is giving us the ultimate textbook comeback story of reclaiming your power. Do you remember back in June 2025, she faced a devastating corporate layoff. She was working hospitality, on track to be a chief marketing officer, playing by all the corporate rules, and she got totally blindsided and let go.
I remember that. It's so traumatizing to pour your heart and soul into corporate America, tying your entire identity to your job title, and then just getting cut loose like you mean nothing.
Well, she gave an update 1 year later, and she completely flipped the narrative. She turned it into a blessing. She used that forced downtime to pivot and start her own boutique marketing agency. She's no longer answering to a board. She's controlling her own schedule. She has her own high-end clients, including Dr. Georgina Fursley, which is a great reality crossover. And she says she absolutely loves the flexibility and creative freedom of being her own boss.
Yes. See, this is what I'm talking about. Rejection is just redirection. She didn't let the corporate machine break her, and she didn't just scramble to find another toxic job. She built her own table.
And it gets better. She said this entrepreneurial path has actually strengthened her connection with her husband, Nick Barber. They are both highly career-driven people, but now they have the flexibility and agency they need because, wait for it, they are preparing to welcome their first baby.
Oh my God, I love that for her. Best friend empowerment moment right here. Sometimes the universe violently closes a door on a corporate job so you can build your own empire, control your own time, and have a baby on your own terms. We love a genuine happy ending where someone actually escapes the matrix.
We really do. And it's a perfect, necessary palate cleanser after unpacking the absolute mess of the rest of the Bravo universe today. But as we wrap up this massive download, I want to leave you and the Snark Squad with a final, slightly provocative thought to mull over regarding everything we just discussed.
Ooh, the analytical wrap-up. Lay it on us. What does this all mean?
Think about the collective trajectory of the stories we covered today. We have Bravo stars getting literally detained and deported at the airport over Instagram ads because international labor laws don't care about follower counts. We have an untouchable plastic surgeon reality star facing a barrage of real-world medical malpractice lawsuits that threaten his actual livelihood. The curtain is being pulled back on the stark financial realities of former stars. Are we witnessing the final collapse of the untouchable reality star era?
I mean, it really feels like it.
For years, these people operated in a protected bubble where bad behavior, reckless choices, and questionable ethics were rewarded with a Bravo paycheck and fan adoration. But now it seems like real-world systems, like immigration laws, legal liability, financial markets, are finally catching up and bursting that bubble. The reality TV shield is officially cracking, and the real world is flooding in.
Oh, wow. That is incredibly deep. The consequences are finally outpacing the Bravo contracts. The legal system is undefeated. I love that theory. Snark Squad, I want you to think about that. But before we let you go back to your regularly scheduled Monday chaos, we have our 3 required questions for you to answer in the comments or in our DMs. Ready?
Number 1. What is the absolute longest 5-minute FaceTime call you have ever had, and what incredibly random, deeply specific topic did you end up dissecting?
Number 2, have you ever walked into a grocery store for one single item and left with an entire overflowing cart? Tell us the most ridiculous, aesthetic-driven impulse buy you made while suffering from decision fatigue.
And number 3. What is one small, ridiculous piece of Monday chaos that you managed to survive today? Validate our struggles by sharing yours.
We want to hear all about it. Thank you so much for spending a part of your day with us and letting us vent. We appreciate you more than you know.
Don't forget to do the housekeeping. Please subscribe to the feed. Leave us a glowing 5-star review. It helps us so much in the algorithm. And share this link with another gossip-loving babe who desperately needs a spicy margarita in their life today.
We love you guys. Stay fabulous, stay a little nosy, and we'll see you on the snark side.